Hello, and welcome to another Waiting for Next Year video. I'm here with a good friend of mine, Mike Hattery. He's been on quite a few times. Mike, I think you've been on more than anybody now, right?
Potentially. I don't know. You've had a lot of different people on recently. I haven't seen
I'm
you in
really
months.
popular. I'm really popular. A lot of people like me.
Your hair has gotten a lot longer since the last time I saw you. That
I
should be
uh,
noted.
I found an angle that made this part look less thin. So like I used to do them from a bad angle. I'm trying this angle now to try to add to my hairline. Is it working? Sounds like it's working.
It looks like it's working. I've never seen your hair this long before, so
Yes.
that's an accomplishment.
I like this. I like this little confidence boost right at the beginning. This works well for me.
Elmer is looking good.
That's right. All right. So the Indians today picked up Michael Brantley's option, 11 million for this year. I don't think either one of us wants to even pretend like we agreed with this decision. So let's just be mad about it. Just want to be mad about it together.
Yeah, let's be mad about it. This is really
It's so dumb.
okay. Where I don't get why
I
it's
feel like we're
not
supposed to
okay
say smart
question
things and
any
break
of
things
them.
down in a smart way.
Is it?
And like, especially about something like injuries. Like, okay, if you want to do they have the Midas touch about everything, which they've been really good, but I don't like injuries are the one thing that we can all agree that they failed miserably at, right?
Yeah, real bad. It's been real bad recently. I mean, Brantley
So
was playing on basically one leg in a playoff series and got 15 plus plate appearances. Kipnis, coming off an injury, played a position he hadn't played in like what, 5 years? I no.
and Chisenhall, did Chisenhall play? I don't know. I barely remember Chisenhall in the playoffs.
I thought he lost his leg in the Great War.
It was dysentery or something. So the other part of this that's scary is he just had surgery on that ankle with a 5-month recovery. And now that they picked up the option, they're saying it could be, mid-February or March that he could be back. But we've heard that song and dance, and I don't know why we would give the benefit of doubt to them on that. So he might not even, let alone the fact that he's a major injury scare, both for getting injured and for diminished play for an injury. He's already likely to miss the opener or be rushed back for the opener, right? Am I misstating the facts here?
Yeah, I mean, I think, there's that optimistic, if he's on the 4-month timetable, then he's back late February. He can practice in March. He's ready to go. No problem. He's 100% for opening day. There's the 5-month plus outcome, which is he's not back in camp till mid-March. And then I think you're right. He probably doesn't go opening day. The bigger thing to me, too, is not only there's this assumption. There are two assumptions that bother me. The first is that, like, people are saying, oh, well, it's not the shoulder or the elbow. It's a completely different place. So thankfully, this is a separate injury site. We don't have recurring injuries. And it's like, well, now we have two high-risk injury areas. And I think people cast aside the shoulder elbow, and it's not as like a non-recurring thing since then. I mean, he lost an entire year having multiple surgeries on different parts of that arm.
Right. I don't
So let's
say
not
like,
act like that's not still high risk.
yeah, I'm not like, sure, my roof's leaking, but at least it didn't get worse and just my plumbing's bad now. Like it's not good when multiple things are going wrong. Like just because one didn't get worse doesn't mean that you want other ones to be. I'm so angry. My analogies aren't working, Hattery. I need you to calm me down. What's going on here?
I'm not calming you down. This is the other thing too, is that like there's this thing with players where like we've seen their apex and we assume that continually exists inside that player until like we literally see them like basically unable to walk on the field. And
But
what's
enough
real
about
is
Derrick
that,
Rose.
yeah, that disappears a lot earlier than we think. And I think a guy is having an ankle surgery that's somewhat complex, is going to take 4 or 5 months to recover from. Maybe his foot speed's going to decline. And while everybody's propping up that like WAR per 90 games he posted last year, it was kind of propped up by base running value, which I think we're going to see decline a little bit post ankle surgery. That happens a lot. It's, there's actually research on this. I'm not just running it out there like
There's also just like having bad ankles is bad for running. Like that, I feel like that's one that we don't even need the numbers. Like you don't even have to run the numbers to figure that one out. Kind of like shoulder injuries are bad for swinging bats. Like I feel like we don't even have to like be smart on this one. Like we can just like those are just very obvious things?
Yeah, so his arms aren't great for swinging a bat, and his legs aren't great for running. And we're gonna have him probably learn a new position if Santana walks to A, protect his body, and B, fill a role. So if he plays first base, what's fun is his bat isn't that good for first base. One of the reasons Brantley was super good in left was he was a really good base runner, he was a decent defender, and his bat was good for left field. The problem is at first base, the standard for a really good offensive production is much higher because you have much more power and contact authority at first base. I think Nam is nudging me to center my face on the television.
No, I was nudging my wife. She was like opening some chips back there. It kept flipping to me.
Gesticulating at his wife, even ruder. Jeez.
I think it's even more.
But the point being, his bat doesn't play at first base. He's never defended there. He's getting slower. And money always matters. Like, I've seen these arguments that are like, this isn't going to affect Santana and this isn't going to affect Bruce. And I get that it's not my money, but I do know that if they're trying to deal for like a back end relief arm at the deadline who's like overpaid, or a fourth or fifth starter who's overpaid, or a third baseman like Martin Prado who's overpaid, I know that like money eating into salary decrease your prospect costs. And prospects are huge for an organization like Cleveland because they're the long-term deflation of value and protect your ability to have sort of fair payrolls and pay players like Edwin Encarnacion. So there's always a long chain that $12 million produces for a team like the Indians. It's just the nature of their market. And we haven't escaped that just because we have 2 years of attendance.
We just got Jay Bruce because we were willing to spend more, because we had some open funds that we could do. Let me ask you this. So I was trying to think through the reasoning on this, other than just, hey, we like Brantley, we're used to Brantley, you know, all that kind of stuff. Do you think the lack of home playoff games maybe put the budget at a place they weren't expecting, and $11 million for 1 year was easier to swallow than, you know, whatever Bruce or Santana are going to get for 3 or 4 years?
They cleared $2 million. They have really great season ticket commitments just for buying into the playoffs this year. They got the full ALDS, which is important. They got all 3 games, so they really, I mean, that's pretty valuable. I mean, last year they only had 2. I don't know. They basically had 4 home games through the first 2 rounds last year, or 5. I think it's 4 or 5, and they had 3 through the first 2 rounds this year. So their monetary losses in the first couple rounds isn't this big. Obviously, the World Series is your put me over. I don't know. It's not. I think they're in really good shape in their market. I know they outperformed even their own in-house projections for attendance this year in the regular season. So, you know, I don't think that's an issue.
So what you're saying is there's no real reason to just be mad. There's no sugarcoating my madness. My mad just needs to be dialed to 11 and just.
I don't think there's like a really strong process move for this decision.
I don't know if we want to touch on that today, but it does sort of feel like the organization has made some strange decisions in that department and maybe less process-based recently. You know, the Carl Willis hire was maybe one that we didn't expect from an organization that seems normally so trend-setting and cutting edge on their use of new kind of ideas and measurement. Would you agree?
Yeah. I mean, the like dirty, not so dirty little secret about Carl Willis, which you can read in like 5 different Boston papers, blogs, whatever you want to do, is that in 2016 he was sort of struggling with the staff. They bring in Brian Bannister, who is a former major league pitcher, a new age guru, guy who really buys into the preparation and analytics details in some ways more than Callaway did. And he sort of, you know, is constantly highlighted as a key to reviving that Boston pitching staff as like assistant pitching coach or co-pitching coach almost. And we just hired Carl Willis, you know, a 60-plus-year-old who needed a young guy in to help him sort of streamline teaching pitchers analytics. So, yeah, that's not positive. The youngest guy on their bench is that Millsy? And he's about, I guess he's about as relatable as Leave It to Beaver. Like nobody cares anymore. Like his cultural references must be terrible in the clubhouse. So I don't know. The age of the coaching staff is shockingly old when the entire rest of the league is going young.
It's scary. All right, let's save that for another day, another time to be mad. Brantley's option being picked up means Jason Kipnis will not be on the team in 2018. True or false?
False. I think he's going to be around. And you and I have talked about this. He's the way better bounce back candidate. I think.
But we've committed to Brantley now. I agree with you. I think too. Similar money, coming off down years. I believe in Kipnis more, but they picked Brantley. So can they have both?
Yeah, I think they can have them both. The problem is, like, the ideal for Kipnis, if you weren't going to deal him, was he was going to play left field because he's athletic enough to play left or right field. His arm is terrible, so you play him in left. But he's certainly athletic enough to play out there and probably play as well as Brantley or better. And he has better sort of hope for offensive bounce back. So his best position option probably just got closed unless the Indians really are moving Brantley to first, in which case, we have sub-average offensive performance at first base compared to the league. We have Kipnis in left, and we're betting on two early 30s guys who put up 2.5 WAR combined last year for $24 million.
I'm mad again.
Yeah.
You've made me angry again. Let's end it while we're both angry. Wait, can we end it on a happy note?
Josh Tomlin.
Josh Tomlin, still crazy cheap. How does that rotation work out? Let's do this real quick, 30 seconds. But is Salazar a reliever now, or do you leave him in as a starter?
Tito and the Indians have decided they're not super creative. Therefore, they will not do the cool thing, which would be to turn Salazar into a 100-inning Chris Stefanski type guy. Therefore, he'll stay in the rotation. They'll bungle him and Clevenger all year. It'll be really frustrating. Josh Tomlin will pitch a lot. One of them will get hurt. Seriously, that's all.
Remember when I said happy note? It wasn't a happy note.
But it's really deep. It's like a deep rotation now. It's really deep.
It was like a minor chord. It was like not a happy chord. It wasn't like, it was like a minor chord. Like I'm sad. I'm not happy with that. All right, well, let's wrap it up there. Instant reaction to the Brantley pickup. Mike, thanks for joining me. I'm going to make it come on more often in the very near future. This has been Waiting for Next Year. This is our YouTube page. Please like, comment, subscribe. You can see my pretty mug. You can see Craig doing lots of great stuff. Every once in a while, let Hattery come on here and embarrass himself too. So, we appreciate you coming. Hope to see you again. Thanks for joining us. Bye.